So, Paige Bueckers' debut, man. It wasn't that good, not gonna lie, not that good.
For each other, and that's our connection. And we're so connected that way, and that doesn't mean it's great all the time. We have hard conversations, we have tears, we have disagreements. That's actually normal in a relationship, isn't it? Like, it's normal to have disagreements. It's normal to be frustrated with each other. It's normal, like, that's a part of it. Conflict's a part of it. And so we work through it together, and we're willing to sit in.
Caitlin Clark just stepped back into Team USA camp after 5 months away from competitive basketball. And what happened next instantly shifted the entire conversation. After an injury-filled season that sparked real doubts about whether she'd ever fully return to form, Clark walked onto the floor and erased every question in a matter of minutes. This wasn't a slow ramp-up. This wasn't shaking off rust. This was a statement. And in the middle of that statement, Paige Bueckers quietly went from headline rival to a background detail in Clark's comeback narrative. Before breaking down what unfolded, there's a real question that now matters more than ever. Who should make the final Team USA roster for 2026? Drop your predictions in the comments, because after what Clark just showed, some expectations are about to be completely rewritten. Coach Carl Lawson's reaction after her first practice sounded simple on the surface. He said she looked good on both ends of the floor. But that description barely scratches the truth. Clark didn't just look good. She controlled the entire environment. She dictated pace, stretched defenses from distances that forced coaches to rethink coverage, and made every drill feel like it was being run on her terms. Players who arrived believing they were fighting for roster spots suddenly looked like they were fighting just to keep up. Sue Bird, now overseeing USA basketball, watched Clark push the tempo relentlessly, bury deep threes with ease, and instantly reestablish chemistry with Aliyah Boston. It looked natural. It looked inevitable. And it sent a clear message. This pairing isn't theoretical anymore. It's functional, and it's dangerous. After months of physical setbacks, Clark didn't just prove she's healthy. She proved she's evolved, more composed, more aggressive, more intentional. This wasn't a return to form. It was a reminder that last season's injuries were a pause, not a prediction. Caitlin Clark isn't just back. She's positioning herself to lead Team USA straight toward gold in 2026.
Clark is going against Paige and Dejanay. ESPN today, they were talking about Paige. One of them says, I think Paige will be a good player this year, but I'm not expecting a Caitlin-like impact, and that's an unfair bar to set. Dallas Wings using the promo poster of Paige.
Let's rewind for a moment, because the context changes everything. During her rookie season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark didn't just impress. She detonated the record books. She shattered TI 62 records. In a single year, triple-doubles became normal. Logo range threes felt routine. Defenders weren't just late, they were second-guessing their careers. In one season, Clark didn't adapt to the league. She bent it around her game. Then came season 2, and everything unraveled. One injury led to another, then another, until momentum completely disappeared. Clark explained it perfectly when she said it was never just a single issue. She'd feel better briefly, only for new problems to surface and stack on top of each other. The cycle never stopped. The result was shocking. Just 13 games played. The entire season. 13. After a rookie year that rewrote history, the basketball world started whispering. Could her body handle the grind? Would the injuries keep piling up? Was that first season an outlier? By the time Clark walked into Team USA camp, she hadn't played competitive basketball in nearly 5 months. 5 months away from the game that made her a phenomenon, and everything that followed made that absence impossible to ignore.
Every single point being scored or assisted by Caitlin Clark in a 4.5-minute spell to make a game, to go from down 5 to up 13. Like that, well, basically it was down 15 to up 10 against Phoenix Mercury last year, where every single basket other than one was either scored or assisted by Caitlin Clark in what was the craziest game of her career. Where it's funny, if you look back on that game, I think she had 15 points and 13 assists and on 4 of 15 shooting. And people were just like, oh, this was terrible.
The stakes couldn't have been higher. This wasn't a casual off-season run or a low-pressure workout. This was Caitlin Clark's first real audition for the ERUPTS 2026 World Cup roster and the ERUPTS 2028 Olympic team in Los Angeles. Every possession mattered. Every movement was being evaluated. Coaches, analysts, and cameras were locked in on her from the moment she stepped onto the floor. The question hanging in the air was simple, but heavy. Could she still look like that player after months away? Clark admitted the nerves were real. Walking into camp, the moment felt overwhelming. But that anxiety didn't last long. She later explained that as soon as she touched the basketball during warm-ups, everything settled. Comfort returned instantly. And once practice started, comfortable wasn't even close to an accurate description of what followed. Clark declared herself fully healthy, and then backed it up possession after possession. Her jumper snapped through the net with that unmistakable sound fans know so well. Her passes arrived right on time, right on target, as if she could see the game unfolding seconds before everyone else. Her court vision looked sharper, cleaner, and more decisive than it ever had before the injuries. Most importantly, her speed was back. Analysts immediately noticed it. That burst, the ability to turn the corner and explode downhill, had been missing during her injury-riddled second season. At Team USA camp, it reappeared in full force. She attacked dribble handoffs with purpose, blew past defenders, and created chaos in the paint. One sequence on day 2 summed it all up. Clark took a handoff from Aliyah Boston, turned the corner at full speed, and fired a perfectly timed pass to Jackie Young cutting to the rim. The layup didn't fall, but it didn't matter. The pass was flawless. The intent was undeniable. Clark played with joy again. She smiled constantly. She later said her only goal was to have fun, and it showed. Her game, her confidence, and her presence completely shifted the energy of the entire camp. The moment she proved she was truly healthy, everything changed.
Needs it. That's another level of facilitating. That's why we say, man, Caitlin Clark is the top guard, man. All right, y'all start the conversation in the chat, but I'm just saying, Chelsea Gray is a very entertaining passer. All right, very entertaining. Sometimes her flashiness kind of make her throw the ball away and things of that nature, but Caitlin Clark knows how to get that thing in tough spots. All right, get it in tough spots and get her teammates open, get it to where the teammate can catch the ball and just pull it in a comfortable style. All that is a part of facilitating, man. All right, so
now let's get into the part that truly set the camp buzzing, the undeniable chemistry between Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston. There was a moment in practice that stopped everyone in their tracks, including Sue Bird and the coaching staff. Clark spotted Boston slicing toward the rim and fired a pass that felt almost impossible. It bent through traffic, arrived right on time, and hit Boston perfectly in stride. Boston finished the play and smiled. Clark smiled back. In that instant, it was obvious. This wasn't random success. This was real, elite-level connection. Team chemistry usually takes weeks, sometimes months, to develop in national team settings. Players have to learn spacing, timing, and instincts. Guards often struggle to feed bigs in tight windows or deliver the ball at the exact speed needed. But Clark and Boston skipped all of that. Their year together in Indiana had already built a shared language. They knew each other's tendencies, angles, and rhythm. Every possession showed it. Clark would secure a rebound and immediately accelerate, eyes up, already searching for Boston sprinting down the lane. Boston would seal her defender in the post, trusting that the ball was coming before the help defense arrived. And it did, threaded through gaps most players don't even recognize. The precision was striking. The trust was complete. An analyst summed it up perfectly. Clark knows when to attack and when to create. That feel for the game is rare. And even when her shot isn't falling, defenders can't relax. Her shooting gravity bends the defense, pulling extra eyes toward her. That pressure creates space everywhere else. Suddenly, Boston is open. Suddenly, lanes appear. Clark's presence alone reshapes the floor, and Boston thrives in the openings it creates.
all the players play well, but France are just a little bit better in the World Cup. I'm not going to hate watch Team USA, but I do hope that the other teams they're playing are just better. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if you are actually supporting Team USA, you would hope the two of them play together, because the two of Paige and Caitlin play together, because that's what's going to help them win. And is Caitlin going to be the best player at this camp? If Caitlin's the best player at this camp, there's something seriously wrong with the level of women's basketball. Like, if a player who has basically been injured for a year shows up and is the best player at their first training camp, because let's be real, you're not going to, it takes players weeks, if not months.
What stood out even more than the scoring was the way the tempo shifted the moment Clark took control. Every time she secured a rebound, the pace instantly changed. She didn't hesitate or slow the game down. She exploded forward, turning defense into offense before opponents could even think about getting set. Boston ran the floor with purpose, confident that her effort would be rewarded, and time after time, Clark delivered easy, perfectly timed baskets. That urgency became contagious. Soon, everyone followed their lead. Teammates sprinted the lanes, cut harder, and filled space with intention because they trusted Clark to see them. Her playmaking didn't just benefit Boston, it elevated the entire group. One sequence in particular caught the coach's attention when Clark hit Jackie Young on a sharp cut to the rim. The pass met Young in full stride, allowing her to finish cleanly without breaking rhythm. It was the kind of read that separates great guards from elite ones. The Clark-Young connection looked just as natural, hinting at a backcourt partnership that could anchor Team USA for years. As one analyst put it, Jackie Young can do nearly everything on the floor, and playing next to Clark only amplifies her strengths. Their skill sets complement each other effortlessly. The energy between Clark and Boston was impossible to miss. They played with smiles, joy, and confidence, and that confidence spread throughout the gym. Teammates responded with sharper movement and better spacing, knowing precision passes were coming. Sue Bird and the staff watched closely as these connections formed in real time. While others fought for spots, one reality became clear. Clark was separating herself, and the starting point guard decision was beginning to right itself.
Most of us want adversity to go really quickly, like, okay, it'll be tough for a half a day, and then we're done. And this has been tough for longer for us. Good. Good. Because this is what life is about. Like, you don't get to control the length of your adversity. All you get to do is control your attitude and your focus, and just work like heck to try and change it.
Heading into camp, the storyline felt straightforward and almost predictable. Multiple elite players, limited roster spots, and a brutal competition for places on the 2026 World Cup team. Coaches were expected to face impossible decisions. Players knew nothing was guaranteed. The pressure was heavy and everyone could feel it. Angel Reese captured that mindset perfectly when she talked about how meaningful the opportunity was, emphasizing that nobody was there by accident. Every athlete had been handpicked to contribute something special, and every athlete understood that one bad stretch could cost them a spot. Caitlin Clark understood those stakes better than anyone. She openly acknowledged that everyone in the gym wanted the same thing and that every practice mattered. But by day 2, what was supposed to be a tight competition began to look completely unbalanced. Analysts struggled to find the right words, eventually settling on one simple description. Clark was on fire. From the opening drills, her confidence was obvious. Her three-point shooting was automatic, even from deep range with defenders closing hard. Every look she took felt calculated, controlled, and calm. What truly separated Clark, though, wasn't just shot-making. It was her command of the game. Her vision opened up scoring chances that others couldn't even imagine. She threaded passes through traffic, hit cutters in stride, and made split-second decisions that consistently led to the best possible outcome. Every possession told the same story. She knew exactly when to push, when to slow it down, when to shoot, and when to let a teammate shine. There was no forcing the issue, no wasted movement, no panic. While many players focused on individual moments to stand out, Clark took the opposite approach. She elevated everyone around her. Good cuts were rewarded instantly. Solid screens turned into easy baskets. Teammates quickly realized that if they played the game the right way, Clark would find them. That team-first mindset stood out in a setting where personal survival often takes priority. Her leadership emerged naturally. She communicated constantly, calling out defensive coverages, directing traffic, and setting the tempo. Younger players gravitated toward her presence and basketball IQ. You could see it in the way they followed her lead, trusted her decisions, and matched her energy. Sue Bird watched closely, clearly impressed. When Bird said Clark looked great, it carried serious weight. She pointed out that Clark's rhythm was back despite months away from competitive basketball, and when Bird speaks, the entire coaching staff listens. The reactions from the bench told their own story. Coaches smiled when Clark made the right read. They nodded at her discipline and poise. Their body language revealed clarity, not uncertainty. They weren't watching a battle anymore. They were watching someone claim control. Clark herself summed it up simply, saying it felt good to finally be 100% healthy. Her play backed up every word. That performance inevitably shifted the conversation about the future. Paige Bueckers wasn't even at camp, still navigating her own injury journey, and Clark's dominance answered questions before they could be asked. After 5 months away, she walked in and reminded everyone that there are levels to this game. The projected starting lineup coming out of camp reflected that reality. Clark running point, Jackie Young beside her, Kalia Copper on the wing, Derica Hamby in the front court, and Aliyah Boston anchoring the middle. It's a group built entirely around Clark's ability to make everyone better. For Angel Reese, the picture grew more complicated. Analysts questioned her fit, suggesting her value would come through rebounding and energy rather than star usage. Compared to Clark's tempo-driven, connective style, Reese's game seemed harder to integrate. Frustration showed as practices went on, while Clark's chemistry with players like Boston and Cameron Brink only strengthened. By the end of camp, the message was clear. Clark hadn't just earned a roster spot, she had locked herself in as the leader. Coach Kara Lawson summed it up best, noting that Clark looked sharp on both ends and hadn't missed a beat. Caitlin Clark returned after 5 months away and reminded everyone why she's the future of USA basketball and why she's the one running the show.